Welcome to the titular Vee and Reagan's unusual and unethical podcast.
Today's matter of discussion is CHIMERAS!
Yes! All right. So, I think first we should talk about how it scientifically works because that is very important background information because it lays out everything we're going to talk about. So, these things actually work by infiltrating the genes.
Wow. Well, I think the science behind it, we're actually quite behind on the science because a lot of it's very new. Like, this is only a thing that people have really experimented with in very recent times. So there's not that much science behind it. It's a very new it's a new thing.
Yeah, like people only started caring in like 2003, and that's like people will say, "Oh, that's so long ago," but like relatively on the scope of the multiverse,
Yeah.
that is not that long. So this is a process called interspecies blastocyst complementation. And a lot of what we're gonna be talking about is gonna be pigs because that is a huge meta in
They
today.
mostly do pigs because I think their DNA is kind of like compatible when it comes to like the organs and stuff. Because a lot of it is organs. Like they're trying to grow
It's the
human
organ
organs.
sizes. It's the organ sizes. They're very comparable to human organ sizes. But let's
Yeah.
not get too ahead of ourselves today here, guys. Okay, so first, the genes responsible for growing a specific organ are like taken out of a pig embryo, and then they take human pluripotent stem cells and then they inject it into said embryo, and then that is allowed to grow and develop. Oh well, I thought
Hmm.
my partner V would elaborate more on that, but I guess not.
Sorry.
So, background information. So, as mentioned, this is very, very recent. Like, nobody even cared until 2003, and then nobody even really started to care until like the past few years. I think since
Yeah.
2017 have been like the chimp studies and whatnot.
Yeah. That's like the like actual like breakthroughs in it when they've discovered they can actually do stuff. You know, I think there's been a lot of cases of like transplants on the same animal, but like a different part from a different animal. Like there's been transplants of dog heads on a dog. It's not very successful, but I'm pretty sure that goes back to like the 1900s, pretty later on.
Yeah, that
But
has always
everything,
been. Yeah.
but everything with like different DNA with like different species is very new. Because it's really hard to do that. Like you need a lot of very advanced knowledge and technology to do that.
Yeah, like basically since like the dawn of time. And like chimerism can occur and then like wild too. Like this is something that can like happen naturally. So like when it's like in terms of like there's those mouse and rat studies, that's not very crazy, but whenever stuff like human DNA starts to get introduced, especially to the extent that we're now pushing it and what we're trying to do, which we'll get into in a second, it becomes that's when the question about ethics come in play because what are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
Yeah, because if we have like a pig and it has the brain and mental capacity of a person, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Like that's horrible and very unethical.
Like even if the pig had like a semblance of human like awareness, that would still be horrible.
Yeah, even like a little bit is bad because human awareness is much more advanced than animal awareness.
Yeah. Um so yeah, this is very recent. Um now
Yeah, I think we said that like 3 times.
um so
Oh, we could talk about how we can't talk to the chimeras because they don't have voice boxes and
yeah,
most.
okay, cuz even if like hypothetically they were to have this like sentience and awareness, and even if we do like did give them the most perfect life ever, like if we were like giving them like some like mansions, like some like 24 service, I don't know, even if we were to give that them, I feel like even the fact that they're like a human like competence in an animal body would kind of be suffocating because we can't communicate with them at all. It would feel very,
Yeah. They would have to have a human voice box too, like the vocal cords and stuff.
and I just don't.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they could maybe communicate. Like if something has like opposable thumbs, like a chimpanzee, they could they could they could communicate through writing
yeah, but
because they can hold a pen.
being real here, like with the goal of these studies in this, that goal being to like use these animals for like kind of like human substitutes, like if they want to test like or if they want to study disease or like new experimental drugs, like even if there was a universe where all of this could happen, we could like somehow connect with the animals like a Disney princess. Um, I just we don't really think that's likely because of the goal. Um, and the other main goal being scientists hope to use these like human growth organs for transplants, especially with the pigs, because as mentioned earlier, pig and human organs are very similar in size. So this is a very intentional like attempt to save human life.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people need organ transplants, like
Yeah.
100,000 people. So that's why there's a big push for people to work on this because even though it can be unethical, it's not yet because they don't have the human sentience, and I don't think they're ever going to do that. So right now, it's just helpful, essentially.
Yeah, but I think it is very worthy to talk about it and have these discussions because we may believe that we're not going to be going that far. Like we can think we're not going that far, but we have truly never went this far to begin with. So I don't even think we're going to know what to do once we get to a certain point. Like we're already having a
Yeah,
worry of like, okay, wait, they can't communicate with us. They're killing it off early. Like development if it like does succeed and get to like a notable extent. Which is good, but there will become a point where, well, there's gonna most likely become a point where we don't know where to go. There's a lot of these people who are like in like wait lines for organ transplants, and this seems like a perfect substitution. Therefore, it is not crazy to be concerned about how this is going, especially because it's
yeah.
very complicated.
Well, what I think is, I think there's a certain point to where it's a very good thing for the people who need organ transplants, and there's a point where it becomes unethical. And I think that point is when people think of chimeras, they think of like a half human, half animal hybrid. Now that would be very unethical because that sort of implies that they have more human qualities than just like an organ growing in their body that's human that can be used to help. Like a half pig, half human hybrid would be like anthropomorphic. It would be able to walk. But that's disturbing. Nobody wants that.
Like that would kind of be like Svini Bombardini in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Um, Fun fact, do you actually know the origin? That was a question. That was a fun fact. Okay. Do you know the
um,
I'm trying
yeah,
to
the
find it.
origin is from Greek mythology. The origin's from Greek mythology because there's an ancient creature with a lion head, a goat body, and a snake head tail.
Yeah,
That's like a
and I
Greek
actually
mythology creature.
you're not gonna believe me, but I actually have that pet and adopt me. So whenever we started researching this topic, that's already had like a vague understanding, like, okay, what are they doing to these animals?
Oh yeah,
What
that's
are they doing to these
crazy.
poor birds? And this represents chaos and instability, which I think that's not telling, but I think that's very interesting how they represent that and like the sciences we're doing like now can be seen as like not like unstable, but like kind of unstable because they happen to fail a lot. And it's very like
Yeah.
inherently crazy to think about.
Well, in Greek mythology, it's a very widely known like fictional thing in Greek mythology. So it makes sense that you would have a pet in a game that has the same name because the events in the past always will impact the future and
Yeah,
how people
every
take
action has a
inspiration from the names.
reaction. Yeah, every action has a reaction.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and there are actually like natural chimeras. So this isn't just for like freaky science stuff. More on those later. Um, but as like a basic summary, they inherit two sets of DNA rather than one, and this is pretty rare. But it is something that happens in the wild, and studies such as like the mouse and rat ones often don't bat an eye. But yeah, it's the human, especially the human and pigs, which first study has been done 2017, and that hasn't even been 10 years. It has been only 9 years. And in the terms of science, it's very short.
Yeah, that's not very long. Do you know the first person to receive a heart transplant from a genetically modified pig heart?
Oh yeah, I do actually. Um, I think you would find that to be David Bennett. Would you like to more?
Oh, Bennett? Yeah, yeah, I know a lot about this guy.
You do?
I've
That's
used him a
crazy.
lot in my Genshin Impact team.
So was he like a relative? Oh,
What?
was he like a relative?
Yeah, he's my relative. I use him in my Genshin Impact team, and I use his Q ability, and he makes my team members much stronger. It's really cool.
It's kind of like how I got
Yeah,
Chimeras from Adopt Me. So
yeah, that's
more
crazy.
on David Bennett because he's actually important. Jokes aside. So yeah, this guy was the first living person to receive a heart transplant from a genetically modified pig heart. So like one of these xeno transplantations. And this happened only in 2022. Like I was
Well,
sentient in
who doesn't?
2022. I was sentient, so that's
Yeah,
weird.
that's. I wasn't expecting that to have been so like soon. Not soon, but
And
in relative time, it's not very far away when that happened.
yeah, and he only lived 2 months after, so he died 2 months later. And now there's no specific cause, but it was like his condition getting worse, and just like complications, etc. And we can go
Oh, so it
back from
wasn't
there.
from the transplant itself. It was from like the like pre-existing stuff.
Yeah, but it did show us some about the transplant. I feel because it kind of like it didn't like bring us down to earth, but it like kind of revealed that there if we're gonna be doing these, there are gonna be a lot of complications. Cause it is like he was the first. He was the first.
Hmm.
So rest in peace, Bennett. Cool guy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some like the past instances, like the history leading up to the current meta, because uh it is very new, but there used to be like semblances of an idea of like, whoa, can we do this? So to start us off, 1920s, that this was just a dream. So there's just Soviet biologist Aya Ivanov. Um and now obviously this isn't like what we're talking about, but he created a stronger or more resilient horse using artificial insemination. So V, isn't that when you have like animal sperm and you yourself like put it into an animal like to kind of like mix?
What artificial insemination is, uh, I believe he inseminated local women with chimpanzee sperm without their
Hey, we're
knowledge.
not there yet. I was asking you what insemination is.
Well, it's known for all species. They can also do that for like human women with
Yeah.
human sperm. It just goes for any artificial insemination.
Yeah, so that obviously isn't what we're talking about, but it kind of sparked the discussion. Um, and then he threw an airball here. He tried to make a human ape hybrid. So he inseminated local woman with. So this guy, Ivanov, he inseminated local woman with chimpanzee sperm without their knowledge.
Wow. What is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, that's um very messed up. So
Yeah.
how did he do this? Ivanov, what are your ways? So he led these women to believe it was a medical exam. So I mean,
Okay, so he just lied to them.
yeah,
He's evil.
yeah, and I don't think it ended up working. I don't think so.
Yeah.
How do you think he got that
I mean, the fact
sperm?
that we
Did he like work with animals?
I don't really want to think about how he got ape sperm.
Okay, 1960s. Okay, 1960s. So there were rumors
Yeah.
of a female chimp being impregnated with human DNA. And the scientists, this is like I think somewhere in China. I don't think they were never named. Like this was like published on a paper of sorts. Um, I just know that they ended up getting arrested. But I mean,
Hmm.
we can kind of assume this didn't happen. Like
I would say it's probably just a rumor because I don't think there's any cases of any animal being impregnated with human DNA.
yeah. What do you think they actually
I don't
tried?
think that's happened yet. I'm sure people have tried. I mean, maybe it has happened and they just haven't revealed it to the public because it's really messed up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the knowledge that we know that's like kind of messed up is from like Japan's experiments in World War II. Like we know the human body is like I think 80%, 70% water because of that.
Yeah.
So
Like a lot of the messed up discoveries were because we had to do messed up shit to
unethical.
discover them. It's not really a niche
No,
one.
that's not.
And now jumping
No.
back into the timeline where it's more this at this point it wasn't a dream, it was a reality, but it was a very small reality. So 1980s, bit of a jump. Stanford Stanford University scientist injected mice with human stem cells trying to develop a human immune system in this. I do not believe this worked fully, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then, notably, in 2003, scientists in China created a hybrid embryo using human and rabbit cells. So this is when it started becoming successful, and then people were like, "Wait, what's this? What are we doing?"
Yeah. They also inserted human cells into pig embryos, hoping that the pig's kidneys would have human cells.
Yeah, so just more with like the pig stuff. The pig stuff is really meta. And then finally,
Yeah.
for like a huge landmark, other than the current cases, scientists at the State University of okay, so 2020, scientists at the State University of New York at Buffalo and Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center successfully implemented human stem cells into a mouse embryo. So just furthermore like success. And then since then, there's been a lot. There's been stuff with chimps, like mice, like with the immune system stuff, like the pig stuff.
Yeah. I would say having that successful like implant like kind of sparked a new age for this type of science, allowing them to
Yeah.
do more because there's a successful case.
Okay, so V, now we know a lot about the science, so I think we should try to discuss how it's how is this relevant to us? How is this weird? How is this unethical? Like we claim in our well, not like how we claim, like how we're trying to figure out. So
Well,
what
I
do you
would
think?
say it's weird and unethical because I think the unethical part comes from the fact that we're killing the animals for their body parts, and also the fact that if it became like the science has more advancement, it could be pretty disturbing, like half human hybrids that are more human and less animal. That's the part of where the unethical part comes from.
Yeah, and there's also like branching off of that. There's so many different like concerns just like with that. Like a huge concern is like just straight up uncertainty because we don't know how to navigate this. Like where do we begin? with how do we treat, do we start treating, like, where is the line when we should start treating an animal like a human? And where is that line drawn? We just
Yeah.
don't know that yet. There's no line that has been drawn because there hasn't been a specific instance of
Well, I
that.
would say it's weird because I think a lot of the weirdness comes from the fact that it's literally using human cells and animals' bodies and all of that stuff. I would say that that's fairly weird. Like in the grand scheme of science, this is definitely one of the odder things out there.
And so it's definitely unusual. Yeah, you could say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's unusual and unethical, as one could say.
yeah. And like again, determining like moral status would be very difficult. And like, going back to the like Waystar, we cannot speak with these organisms. We cannot go have a nice coffee, have a nice tea with these organisms. We're not gonna know if they're suffering or if they're even like how they feel truly other than like tests and stuff. But when it comes to like something that can become as complex as the human brain, tests and stuff isn't the best. Like we have like therapists and psychologists for a reason. Like we need to communicate about our brain and how it works, but these animals physically can't. So it would be very suffocating. And I think
Yeah.
some like hardcore like vegan type people would argue that even like the act of like we're like the reason we're doing this, like we're doing this only for human benefit. How do you feel about that?
Well, the way that I feel about that, and I do respect vegans, but I would say this is more helpful than the fact than the not the fact of it, the aspect of animal cruelty that's just killing them for food, which a lot of it ends up being wasted anyway. And the practices that go on in those farms, that's cruelty. But in this situation, these animals are specifically being used for this purpose, and I would say organs for humans has a much higher need than food. Well, food is definitely needed. It's it's a gray area, and I think that a lot of the food that not a lot of the food, but places that are able to get that food in a humane way, there's not really a problem with that. And I think, well, it's not exactly humane because you're killing the animals and using them for human body parts. I would say it's probably just a necessary evil in order to aid in the lives of people.
Yeah.
Because you're in that case, they're saying that you can't kill this animal in order to give this person a better quality of life. And I would say that, well, lives do matter and they should have rights. I think that people are inherently more important because they live for longer and they have more sentience. So,
May
in
I
that
pose a
respect,
question?
what?
Okay, so what if they do gain human sentience from the studies that we're doing? Then how would you like justify that and what they're doing? Because that's the
I
main
would
topic
say
of discussion here.
human sentience, that aspect of it, that should absolutely never happen. If that does happen, I don't think the animal hybrid should be killed because that's also just very cruel, but I don't think that should be something that people try to do. I think it should only be that these organs are being grown for the purpose of helping humans and that it shouldn't be brain, like their brains are being advanced or they're actually like a half human type thing.
Yeah, and like stuff like gametes and sex cells like that. That's also like wide scale considered like a no-go. Um
Yeah.
and I do want to challenge another one of those thoughts. I do believe that if an animal has gone up to like human sentience, that I think they should be ethically, of course, put down because I do not think there's a universe. Like even in a perfect world, I don't think it would be good for the animal because they'd still have like a level of sentience. And obviously, we're not talking about they have full thoughts and like language, but they obviously have more sentience and awareness than a regular animal. And I think they would know their situation more, and it would just be very cruel. Like it would be very cruel, and I think it would be
But
best for them to be ethically put down if
what
it
if they're
got to that.
scared of death?
well, then they're going to be scared of death in their condition for all of their life, probably not in a good condition because they were only kind of like manufactured in a sense to human benefit. Like I think they'd be
Hmm.
very aware. Yeah, so I think
Well,
overall opinion, how do we think we should navigate this science?
I would say it needs to be navigated very carefully, and that, well, I've repeated this a couple times, but it should never be like half human, half animal hybrids. I think it just needs to remain an organ thing. Like, I don't know how I feel about them making embryos with different cells. That seems like a little strange.
I think personally the idea of it is really good. For the organ stuff, I think
Hmm.
as long as the conditions are ethical enough and the like the brain stuff that doesn't really occur or let's get too severe or let the animal get too old, um I think that is okay, question mark. But in terms of like the brain
Hmm.
stuff and having like an excess, like I don't think it would even be possible to have like a 50-50 split or even close to a 50-50 split because um some of the highest, it's somewhere in the doc, but some of like the highest like mixtures they struggle to survive. Like this is a very hard process, but it is a process that as science evolves, which it is rapidly every day, which is why this should be a concern. But as science evolves, this won't become as difficult. In just the past 7 years, so much has happened. Imagine another 7 years, and then another 7 years. It builds off of good science, good science, good science, until the point where I think we're gonna have this all figured out. But that is why I think it is important to come on this podcast today to kind of inform what's going on, due to the fact that this is really emerging. This is something that's like
Yeah.
they're taking like a lot of like philosophists. That's not the word. Philosophers like by storm, taking a lot of scientists by storm. And if it's taking like
Hmm.
professionals by storm, it's gonna take the people by a storm. And I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So, do you have any closing thoughts for today?
Um, I don't know. I really like, what's his name? David Bennett.
Yeah.
All right, make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah, make sure yeah. Um yeah, so goodbye. That was the end of the titular Vee and Reagan Unusual and Unethical podcast. Tune in for next episode. This is just the pilot episode, so yeah.
Bye!